Hey BookTube, my name is Stephanie Deona, and if you're looking for a video on spooky books, you are definitely in the right place. I am super late jumping on this bandwagon for October, Spooktober, whatever else you want to call it. I have not participated in a spookathon where you read a certain amount of spooky books along with one of your favorite YouTubers or book clubs, whatever. I have had a very trying month of October, but I feel like it's winding down and that the worst is behind me. So I feel like I can finally jump on my video making and editing and get back on track with that. So hello. So all I wanted to do today is share kind of some of the creepy books that I have read in the, I would say, the last year or so. There aren't many books that I've read that are creepy that I still have physically. So I just want to talk about some of the creepy books that I've read in the last 365 days. I will definitely link every one of them in Goodreads below if you want to look into them some more. So the first book I want to share with you is from one of my favorite authors, Chuck Palahniuk. He wrote Damned. He wrote this, I think, in 2011 or something, about a little girl, a 13-year-old girl named Maddie Spencer, and essentially she dies, ends up in hell, and is trying to figure out why she's there, how she got there, how she died, and is kind of just figuring out the politics and the logistics and the hierarchy of hell. And she meets a bunch of other teenagers and younger delinquents while she's in hell, and they're just kind of figuring it out, and they go on these misadventures, and there's a number of really interesting happenings. This, I would definitely say, is PG-13, if not R. It might be R-rated. It's really fucking twisted. One of the most messed up things, and one of my favorite parts about this book, is the, I guess, blueprint of hell. Like, Chuck Palahniuk has painted a really fun, fictional hell for these characters. There's like an ocean of semen from all of the masturbation that has happened in the world, river of vomit and things like that. So there's all the gross, classic, like, disgusting hell things. We're also following the story of what leads up to her death, parallel to her story of her journey going through hell, and it's written like a Judy Blume book, actually. So it starts off with, "Are you there, Satan? It's me, Madison," because her name is Madison Spencer, or Maddie Spencer. Her ultimate goal is to meet Satan himself and to explain to him, "Hey, I think there's been a mistake. I don't think I belong here." There is a huge sexual aspect to this, which you wouldn't expect because I'm telling you it's about a 13-year-old girl. But there is definitely a huge, literally huge sexual aspect to this book. So just be aware that that exists. It's definitely an adult book. It's not for your younger reader. Damned actually has a sequel called Doomed, where Maddie Spencer leaves off in this book. I don't want to explain this one too much, actually, because then I would be giving away a lot of stuff that happens in this book. So what I will do instead is link below my reviews, my written reviews on my website to both of these books. So if you want to check out what this one's about, which is the sequel to Damned and Doomed, then go ahead, feel free to check that out. So the sequel came out 2 years after the original book came out, and it has been 3 years since the sequel came out. I think the sequel came out in 2013. I'm kind of not holding my breath for the third book because it definitely ends in a way that a third book is insinuated. There has been no official word from Chuck Palahniuk himself or his publishers or anything like that a third book is coming, but it definitely ends on a cliffhanger, so the story is not resolved. So I don't know when or if he ever plans on finishing that series, but if you're somebody who gets really frustrated with the George R.R. Martins of the world, maybe not pick this one up yet until it's finished. I'll let you know if it's finished. Just follow me on Instagram or Twitter or something like that, and I'll let you guys know if the third book is coming out. The next author I want to talk about is a classic for Halloween, Stephen King. But as you guys know about, you know, Carrie and The Shining and It and Dr. Sleep, you know about all the really creepy classics that have been made into classic movies and things like that. So I don't need to talk to you guys about that, but what I do want to talk about are two books that I think are pretty creepy, or but in their own respect, but not really heralded as his trademark spooky creepy. So the first one I talk about is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. This is actually the first Stephen King book I ever read, and a lot of people were really upset to hear that. The cover is pretty freaking creepy. And I was expecting something pretty creepy from this, actually. I'm not gonna lie. More than anything was eerie. and creepy and scary because you're scared for the main character, not necessarily because you're scared of anything in the book. But I think it was so well written. I thought it was a really well written book, so I enjoyed that aspect of it, but it was definitely really creepy. And there were times where I couldn't figure out if, because we are following another 13-year-old girl. Oh no, I think she's 11. I think this one's younger. So we're following an 11-year-old girl who gets lost in the woods, and she is surviving and encounters some really bizarre, strange things while she's in the woods and trying to find her way home. I couldn't tell at certain points what Stephen King intended to be in your mind, like a real thing versus her imagination. And because she was interacting with everything as if it were real, I couldn't tell really what was real and what wasn't. And so that made the whole book kind of creepy and very ambiguous, because you were like, well, how much danger was she in really in that situation? Like, had she not run away, or had she not tried to defend herself in one way or the other, like, would she have actually been hurt? I loved it. I thought it was really creepy and weird and eerie, and I thought it was a real page turner, which is a very unpopular opinion about this book. So, I don't know, but it's really short and it's really good, and the vocabulary is beautiful. The descriptions in this book is amazing. The other Stephen King series I want to bring up is the Dark Tower series. Now, this one, this series is not known for being necessarily creepy or like his spooky work, but I'm currently on the third book, which is The Wastelands of the Dark Tower series, and I think there's 7 books altogether. Now that I've gotten far enough into this series, I would dub this definitely more of a creepy kind of supernatural story. Well, it starts off very fantasy western and then branches off into kind of prophecy sci-fi, and then it goes into kind of hero's journey with supernatural elements, but also sci-fi elements. It's hard to explain, but it's really, really good. And now, especially in this third book, there is a huge creepy, spooky, supernatural element to the story. And I would recommend that this series as a great read to maybe try to tackle in 1 month, maybe the month of October next year or something like that, because it is really, really good as a story. And then if you also love the creepy, eerie horror side of Stephen King, he totally tosses that in there, sprinkles it on top. But specifically this third book, and I haven't read the other one, so I don't know how it compares to the 4th+ book, but specifically this third book is, and I mean, look at the cover. Look at that. Supernatural, heavy, and some terrifying things happens. I will trigger warning this series for a lot of things. Really anything. Substance abuse, gang violence, nudity. I have to trigger warning it for rape and molestation. Just letting you know now, so if that's something that's hard for you to read, because it's hard for me to read, you should know that that's in here. It's still a really good book and story. Do I think it's necessary? I can't say yet, because there's an element to this book I kind of know is coming, but I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know if the plot devices are necessary to the story. So I can't speak to that quite yet. But everybody else is telling me that it is necessary and that it wasn't just put in there for shiggle. So definitely it's got a little something for everybody, and it's a series I think that everyone should read because it's so good, at least if you can. A lot of trigger warning stuff. Those are some of the creepy, eerie, strange, supernatural books that I've read in the last 365 days. There are a number of other books that I've read in my lifetime that are a little bit in that category. So thank you guys for watching. Those are my creepy reads from the last 365 days of my reading journey. I don't tend to go to the horror section to seek out horror, but if you suggest a genuinely good book, like not just a good horror book, but like a good book that is in the horror genre, please suggest that down below. I would be happy to look into that. I definitely have added a lot more horror books to my Goodreads to read shelf. So comment below with your favorite horror books. I am so excited for Halloween. I cannot wait. I hope you all have a wonderful Halloween, a safe Halloween. But until then, I will definitely see you guys later. Bye!